Hello everybody. Now, the President of the United States today presided over the signing of a deal to normalize relationships between Israel, United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain at the White House. Now, this is a big deal, and it's a very new approach, which we hope is going to work in how we approach peace in the Middle East. It's not only a big news for the Middle East, but a big news for the world, and as they say, a big news for peace. So let's look at this story. And before we start, please, I would like you to consider subscribing to our channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to make sure that we notify you on any future videos. Okay, let's get started. Now, the biggest news of the week, I would say, is the Israeli, UAE, and Bahrain peace treaty, which is to normalize relationship between these three Middle East countries. And this is actually a very big news, very important news, not only for these three countries, but for the world. So I was going through some of the coverage, and it's very interesting how most of the news outlets cover this story, and it tells you a lot about what that news outlet thinks, especially about Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, or President Trump. For example, BBC had a very neutral Trump hails dawn of the Middle East with UAE Bahrain. Very neutral, straight to the point, does not reflect any kind of bias, I would say. So this is good, and I think this is the kind of news we like to see. We also checked in MSNBC, and I must say I'm very impressed with MSNBC as well. So their coverage is also, while it's not very much, it's not very much highlighted, but they have a video 2 minutes that there's an agreement between Israel and Arab states. It's not something that's being kind of highlighted as their main story, but at least they just report it as it is. Okay, how about Fox News? Fox News is also not necessarily very impressive in their coverage, I'll say. Because to them it's looking at basically attacking other media figures. So they say Biden campaign, more concerned about large White House crowd than historic Mid-East deal. Fair enough, but again, this is a big deal. It's better to just cover the information as it is. And then we have the Washington Post. I mean, who didn't expect this, really? The mirage of Trump's peace deals. Come on, really? This is just way beyond. This is just Trump hate, basically. They just hate Trump. That's how you can write such kind of a headline. Now let's look at the Atlantic. This is the fake newspaper that put up a false story about Mr. Trump or President Trump denigrating soldiers recently. And as anybody might expect, there will be no that kind of a news unless it was a very bad news. So, for the Atlantic, as expected, crickets. So people who are subscribed to this newspaper, basically they don't get to see that there's a peace deal. If you're only reading the Atlantic, you probably won't even know there's peace deal ongoing. But hey, who didn't expect this? It's the Atlantic anyway. And, it's just a paper that is full of Trump hate, to be honest. So it's a waste of time. We won't even look further into this. Let's go to CNN, our favorite CNN. When it comes to CNN, well, let's see. So the main headline is about the town hall that was done on ABC today, and then we can see now 2 Arab nations embrace ties with Israel. Here's what it is for all sides, and you can notice that this title is actually very well thought out and crafted to make sure that it does not give any credit to President Trump. But then again, this is the CNN, and CNN is a Trump-hating newspaper, is a Trump-hating magazine, a Trump-hating network or channel. So this is all they could say, and it's very well crafted, really. Nothing to, give. They made sure that they do not give any credit to the president about this peace deal. We can see also derangement on Nancy Pelosi, as everybody really expected. When Nancy Pelosi, on an interview on CNN, she called the Middle East peace deal a distraction. So what Nancy Pelosi is saying is, it's a distraction on the deaths, the COVID deaths. So what she's saying is the president saw COVID deaths getting very high. He looked at it, called Jared Kushner, hey, we need something to distract from all these COVID deaths. What should we do? And the president basically went and said, okay, why don't you go to the Middle East and kind of just create peace in the Middle East? And once you create that peace in the Middle East, bring it back here and we can use it as a distraction for COVID. Oh my God. I don't know who would really believe that, but hey, maybe Democrats or maybe people who hate Trump will believe that. But really, calling one of historic events over the recent history as just a distraction for COVID just tells you how deranged Crazy Nancy is. So it's just an evidence. It's expected. Nobody's surprised. Nobody necessarily thinks this is it's unexpected. So this is where we are now. It's very divided. People who hate Trump, people who like Trump, and it's just the way it is, and we have to deal with it. But generally, in my opinion, this is a really, really big deal. It's something that definitely Mr. Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize for. It's strategic. All the ways it's been done so far, it's not really worked. But I think they're looking at it in such a way that for you to create peace between Israel and Palestine, it's an approach where Israel makes all the Arab countries in Middle East its allies. Once all the allies are Israel's allies, then it's going to be very difficult for Palestine to just stay away. But and eventually I think that's what it's going to end up with. Once Saudi joins in and some of the people who are considered to be allies of Palestine join in, then it's just going to be very easy. And I think that's the direction they're taking it, and I believe it's working. Hopefully that's what happens. But this is something to celebrate. Congratulations to President Trump. Congratulations to everybody who worked on it, and we just hope for nothing but peace. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We'd appreciate if you hit that subscribe button and help us to grow this channel.